What's up, everybody? Happy hump day. Happy hump day. How you guys doing? Listen, I'm just getting home from work, but I wanted to talk to you guys for a few minutes. We ain't going to be here long, but we're going to talk for a few minutes about this K. Michelle dilemma, y'all. This K. Michelle dilemma. Now, y'all might say, well, really, B, we've been talking about this for 3 weeks. What are you talking about, the K. Michelle dilemma? Well, today, we got some new information on both sides of the conversation, right? We have new information on both sides of the conversation. So we have new information that might give some insight into where K. Michelle is coming from. And then we have some information that might say, no, girl, you putting 20 on 10. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, which I'm sure pretty much everybody does, but for those who don't know what I'm talking about, y'all come on in, hit that like button, take a seat. Y'all know what to do. Come on in over here and take the seat. Now we over at the other house. We're not at the main house. We at the other house, but y'all come on in and take a seat, okay? Get comfortable, okay? On the Real Housewives of Atlanta, y'all know that K. Michelle is on this season, and there was a lot of hopes from, K. Michelle stans, people who loved her from Love and Hip Hop, people who are just fans of K. Michelle. Everybody was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. K. Michelle is coming to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, there were also people on the other side saying, oh my goodness, she's going to ratchet it up. We know what she did on Love and Hip Hop, and it's, I don't think it's a good look, and blah, blah, blah. So there were people on both sides before the show even started, okay? Now, if you want to vote in the poll, just put a 1 or a 2 in the chat. You don't need to add any dialogue behind it. You can add your dialogue in the chat, but to vote, just put a 1 or a 2 to vote. Just put a 1 or a 2 to vote, okay? Here's the thing. Y'all know 2 episodes ago when they were in Dallas, she had this big explosive moment where she was like, the people are coming to get me. The people are coming to get me. Phaedra, Portia, and Drew are in cahoots. They're plotting against me. My thing on it is this. Do I think that it is in Portia's wheelhouse to do some dirty things? Yes, I do. But I said then, and I'm going to keep saying, I need more. I need some receipts. I need something. I need more. So today, let's talk about it. So the first thing I saw earlier today, I saw clips from the Jason Lee show. Now, y'all know K. Michelle did an interview with Jason Lee back before the season debuted, where she was sort of talking about it. And so I think certain things might have been said in that interview that people may not have paid attention to in the moment. People may not have paid attention to in the moment. However, fast forward, it may have a different look. So I'm going to let y'all hear what Jason Lee said first. Sorry. So let me let y'all hear what Jason Lee had to say, child. And to be fair, I mean, people have their issues with Jason Lee. So, just because Jason Lee said it, don't make it true. Let's see here. Hold on, child. I am hot. I feel like I might need to turn my air conditioner on, child. I'm hot. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Because I had the clips right here. Let me see. Is this it right here? Here we go. So here go the clips right here. I'm going to let y'all hear what K. Michelle said and what Jason Lee said. as it relates to K Michelle. Let me make sure this is the right clip.
You said you hate the.
No. I said. No, that's not the right one. Hold on, y'all. Damn it. Hold on. I thought I had screenshotted this. Sorry, y'all. I hate when I do this when I think I have it and I don't have it. Hold on. Give me a quick second to find it. My bad. Speaking of Jason Lee, did y'all see what he's interviewing that daggone Dame Dash, and he is just why can't I find it, y'all? Child, if I can't find it, I'm gonna just have to tell y'all. Because I'm not gonna hold up the live. I hate when I do this though. I could have sworn I had that clip. Where did I put that clip? I just saw it today. Oh well, I'm not gonna hold up the live. I can't find the clip, child. I'm not gonna hold up the live. What Dame Dash, Lord, see, now I'm saying Dame Dash. What Jason Lee said was, and I hate when I do this because I really wanted y'all to hear it. But basically what Jason Lee said was that people called him prior to the show. As soon as it was said that K Michelle was going to be on the show, he said people reached out to him because they know that he's friends with K Michelle to ask him things. And he named names. He said Phaedra was one of them. He said it was other people on the cast who reached out to him. He said, but Phaedra was one of them that reached out to him to say, hey, you know, K Michelle going to be on the show this season. What can you tell me? What do I need to know? Now, this is what I'm going to say about that. Does that sort of support what K Michelle said, that people were calling around? And was Jason Lee the person that called her and said, hey, people been calling me and this is what they trying to do to you? I don't know. Because this clip is from a couple of months ago. So it almost was like, well, it does sort of confirm part of what K Michelle is saying. But this is what I'm going to say. Well, this is my opinion. My opinion is this. I feel like this happens all the time. I do not feel like just because people call Jason Lee because they know that Jason Lee is cool with K Michelle, that means that there was a plot. Do I think that when it's found out that people are coming on the show, I told y'all before, you'd be a fool to go into a situation and not have done your research. That's my opinion. When people say, oh, I never watched any of the shows. Oh, I never did this. I never did that. To me, I think that's stupid. You have a whole situation right there in front of you where you can find out who's who, what's what, who are the alliances, who have the relationships, who like each other, who doesn't like each other. So people reaching out to people who know K Michelle, I don't think that's crazy. I don't think and I don't think that proves a plot. Now, does it prove that maybe K Michelle found out this information and kind of was like, why you calling, asking about me? Sure. But I do not think that equals a plot. But I can see where somebody might say, so you was calling, asking about me? Remember in season 9 when the producer said something about a SEC dungeon? Oh, I know what you were saying. My bad. So why is it a stretch that Kay heard about a plot against her from a producer or someone who heard something? Now, Osingal, I hope I said that right. I said that on my review. I said, I don't think somebody called K Michelle the night they went out to dinner and there was the whole thing with the oysters. I do not think anybody called K Michelle. I do think somebody from production may have had a conversation with K Michelle. Now that I believe. Let me tell y'all what I don't believe. I do not believe that K Michelle went to sleep and woke up on some bullshit. I don't. I do think something happened. But I do not believe that somebody called her. Because to me, that would just be too coincidental. I think she's covering for production. Now, do I think that somebody from production might have put something in her head, whether it's true or false? Yes. Yes, I do. I absolutely believe that somebody from production could have said something. I ain't saying they did, but I could see that being the situation. And I could see K Michelle not wanting to say who because she don't want to put the producer out there. But I could see that happening. Absolutely. Isn't that what I mean, I know to this day people think it was Carlos, but isn't that what Phaedra did? Didn't Phaedra blame a producer? Now, Carlos said it wasn't him. Candy said it wasn't Carlos. I don't know who it was, but Phaedra absolutely blamed the producer. Phaedra said the producer told her that. Now, and I'm going to be honest with you. When people say, well, how in the world did Phaedra get back on the show? I really think that's part of how Phaedra got back on the show. I think Phaedra was gone long enough so that most people would get over it. Notice Phaedra never fell out of favor with Bravo. She went on Ultimate Girls Trip, and then she was on Married to Medicine. But I think ultimately her goal was to get back on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I think as soon as they needed her, which was i.e. The season, with Kenya, i.e. they needed Phaedra back, I think they were willing to take that chance. But I think there might have been some validity to somebody being on production that pushed that rumor, because I really feel like that's part of why. Well, Phaedra's only back because Candy's gone. Well, that's true too. You're right. When Candy left, that opened up that vacuum. You're right. That is part of why, but I think that's why Phaedra was never persona non grata. Because I think there might have been some validity to the rumor. That doesn't change the fact that she was wrong for spreading it. Let's be clear. But I'm going to say that I do not believe somebody, because to me that would have just been too coincidental that the same night that they had this whole thing with oysters, how would somebody know that? I just think that was too coincidental. But I do think that maybe K. Michelle might have been upset. Maybe K. Michelle went and talked to production and somebody might have put something in her head. That I believe. That I do believe, y'all. Now, that's just my opinion. Now, because again, let's remember, Cynthia ordered the oysters. So if it's a plot, Cynthia's in on it, right? Because Cynthia ordered the oysters. Hold on, y'all. Y'all know this chair. This chair be sinking on me, child. Give me a new chair. I'm going to give me a new chair one of these days. Okay. So there's that. That's my opinion. I know everybody doesn't have to agree with it, or maybe they don't agree with it. That's fine. But now on the other side, shout out to Millie Chan. If you guys are not familiar with Millie Chan, y'all make sure y'all get subscribed to Millie Chan. I'm going to play her TikTok, and shout out to Millie Chan. She got some tea, honey, from the other side. Now let's look at this video. Let's talk about it. And again, the poll is in the chat, and you can vote more than once. If you want to vote again, I think you can vote more than once. Cynthia also mentioned the water breaking comment, but no one said nothing. What water breaking? Who had the water break? Not really. Someone could just say, hey, Cynthia, I'm in the mood for oysters tonight. Doesn't mean she knew the whole story. But what I'm saying, though, is from K. Michelle's point of view of saying it was a plot. If you think that all of these people were in the plot, why wouldn't you include the person who ordered the damn oysters? I hear what you're saying, that it doesn't mean that she's part of the plot, but I'm saying from K, if I feel like there's a whole conspiracy against me and I didn't name 3 people, but not the person who actually ordered the oysters to set the whole thing up, I'm sorry. I'm putting them in it until somebody proved different. I'm putting them in it. But I hear what you're saying. All right, y'all. Let me now this I know I have because I just emailed it to myself before we went live. I really thought I had saved. I really thought I had saved that thingamabob. I'm really mad about it. All right, let me open this up. Let me share my screen. All right, hold on. Whoops. Let me make this full screen. I'm trying to make it full screen. There we go. Full screen. Okay. Okay. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. All right. So let me share Millie Chan. Let me share my screen. It's a commercial. Oh, well, I'm sorry. We got to get premium. Let me see here. I'm so spoiled now with premium. I don't see no commercials, so I'm sorry. I'm so spoiled. All right, so this is Millie Chan. If you guys are not subscribed to Millie Chan, y'all get subscribed. It's MILLICHUN. Millie Chan is her name on YouTube as well as TikTok and Instagram. It's Millie Chan 08 on TikTok. I think on Instagram it's Millie. On YouTube it's just Millie Chan. But she has really, really, really great content. And on this one, she is pouring the tea, and it is piping hot. Hold on, let me expand this full screen and let's get into it. Let me turn the sound on and let's look at it. Let's listen to it.
The live was shut down. They said the tea was too hot.
Let me start from the beginning. Hold on.
I would have to. Hey y'all, it's your girl Millie.
Now, if y'all remember on, let me know if y'all can hear it. If y'all remember on Sunday's episode, we know that K. Michelle said she talked to one of her exes and she found out that Portia was dating her ex, yada, yada, yada. We all know that story. Well, the guy, for those who don't know who she's talking about the guy that she dated from the show Queen's Court. Now, I don't watch the Queen's Court, so I didn't know who this guy was. I didn't know who K. Michelle was talking about. But for those of you that watch Queen's Court, y'all know exactly who it is. Now, this guy right here, Millie Chan actually interviewed him in the past when he was on Queen's Court. So she sort of already had a relationship with him. So he was supposed to do an interview on another YouTube channel the other night, but that live got shut down. So when the live got shut down, Millie Chan reached out to him to ask him herself what's going on. Okay. So I'm gonna let y'all hear. Let me know if y'all need me to turn the volume up because it sounds a little low.
Millie Chan. So last night we were supposed to get some hot tea from Cocktails with Carly, right? The live was shut down. They said the tea was too hot. And I would have to agree because last night I got a little of this tea on my own. Let's get into it. So y'all know I'm never coming to y'all with no fake stuff. I'm not making nothing up or anything at all. So last night I was like, let me message Nosh because I've had a conversation with him before. I've interviewed him after Queen's Court. So what am I doing? Let me message him. So I messaged him and he messaged me back and I asked him some questions. And I asked him some questions that have been going around on the show because I wanted to know if they were true or not. And then also he gave me a little tea. Let's get into it. So as you can see, I asked him to come on the channel so we can have a conversation because we've had a conversation before. And then I asked him, was the interview posting last night? He said, Millie Chan, yes, it's been postponed, but it's still going to come through. Child, he pulled the show because he did not. And I asked him, why would you? I said, are you talking about Kay? Are you having a conversation about K. Michelle? He said, of course. But he doesn't want things to come out about Kay. So I said, why would you do an interview, right? Because this is what he's upset about. Right?
Now, this is the part that I'm a little crazy. I'm with K. Michelle. I'm with Millie Chan on this one. Why would you do an interview and then pull it and say you don't want to expose K. Michelle, but you did a whole interview? Like, people need to stop doing stuff when they mad and emotional. But go ahead. Let me go ahead.
Right here. I said, hey, Naj, it's Millie Chan. Do you have a moment? Come on the show, da-da-da-da. He said he was super shocked to be referred to as an ex. I said, I was shocked too. Because here's the thing. So this is what I found out. You know, they're on Queen's Court. It's a dating show. She was dating him, and towards the end, she was dating him and this white guy, right? So he was like, you can't really date. So he and Kay talked for about 2 months after the show. He said it wasn't anything, they were never exclusive. They never decided that this is what it's going to be. He was like, I said, because the word of the day is X. He said, yeah, and that's not who I am. Right. So he said that there were some things that Kay showed him. And after 2 months of like talking off and on, he said, I was out. He said, I couldn't deal with it. Oh, y'all, then I got some other stuff to tell y'all. Okay. So then I asked, like,
so he's already saying, look, let's start from the beginning. Me and her were never in an exclusive relationship. So why she's calling me her ex, I don't know, because I'm not an ex anything. You know what I'm saying? But okay, let's keep going. You're right, SCK. He might have did that interview and he said more than he wanted to say. You think about stuff after the fact, but like, shit, I said too much. I don't know.
well, let me ask you this. Like, let's get down to the brass tacks of it all, right? When did you and Portia date? Now, he had misspoke down here, right? He said at first it definitely overlapped with Kay. He said, I believe she's just reaching. And he said, and she and Portia was never friends prior to Real Housewives of Atlanta. But we always knew that they weren't friends. Portia stated that the other night on the show. She was like, I dated him after you, right? And he said he dated her way after. But then he fixed it. It definitely did not overlap. Okay. I was done with Kay before me and Portia became friends. So then I asked, I was like, what did it some bang bang go down? He did not say that happened. And he also said he did not communicate that with Kay Michelle. He said that's not something we ever talked about. And he is upset that he even mentioned Portia because he was like, the only reason he said something was because Kay said Portia was bringing her onto the show. So he was like, okay, let me not make this odd. Me and Portia talked. And real talk, that's who's supposed to be letting Kay know, not so much Portia. Because Portia and Kay were not friends. I'm sure she knew her. She and Portia was never friends prior to RHOA, right? They were not friends. So the person who was linked to K. Michelle is the person who should have mentioned about a relationship. He was the right one. That wasn't Portia's job. You know what I'm saying? That was not her thing to do. So he did what he was supposed to do, and Kay is aware. But I feel like once he did this, Kay used this as her storyline. This is when the change came in. Let's keep going. So this was a real question for me, right? Like, we both agree that Kay likes attention and she likes to be the center of attention, right? He told me about some situations when him and Kay has gone out and how she acted after there was a reaction to him walking in the room because he's a handsome man, right? So I was like, did you tell Kay that Portia wanted to go public? And Portia said, why do I always end up talking to somebody's ex? I said, because that's what she said you told her. He said, again, Delulu, that's not how that went. She ran with the story in her head, as we all know. Now, there is more I could say because we had a long messaging conversation and we had a long conversation, right? But I just wanted to clear the stuff up about what was going on with Portia. And I felt like it was in her head. I felt like that. And I think we all see that Kay likes to be the center of attention. That's why she has aligned herself with the D team over here, because she can't get with the A team. She can't. See, K. Michelle has aligned herself with the B team because she can't get with the A team. You know what I'm saying? Portia is the face of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Kay has only been on 8 episodes, and she trying to come in here like she a big dog, but she got to still stay on the porch. You can't come in the house yet. These 4 ladies are still, for me, not for you, but for me, are still on probation. These are housewives up here. Okay. And Kay cannot exist with these women because these women up here are already the big dogs. So she got to stay down here with the B team so she can be the big dog. Because in this group, She's the big dog. These two are failed restaurateurs. You know what I'm saying? They can't get it together. Shamia is like, Shamia is not.
Okay, so she's just getting into her commentary at this point. I wanted y'all to just hear. Now, again, y'all can do what y'all want to do with the information. Y'all can say, well, I don't believe him. He sound like he a cloud chaser. Y'all can say, well, no, I kind of believe what he's saying because maybe maybe what he's saying it is what it is. So again, y'all know I ain't never gonna tell y'all how to think. I may disagree with y'all, or y'all may disagree with me, but I'm not gonna say you wrong. Well, I probably have said that before, but y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. Hold on, let me stop sharing my screen. This is what I'm gonna say. Me too, Kim. I believe him. I believe that he did have a conversation with K. Michelle saying, hey, I don't want you to walk into nothing. Just letting you know, hey, me and Portia, we had a little thing. I believe that there was no overlap because Portia said that. And really, honestly, K. Michelle even said it. K. Michelle agreed that it wasn't around the same time and it was before she came on the show. So I don't believe that there was any overlap either. Here's what I believe. I believe. I have two thoughts. And remember, you can still vote. Just put a 1 in the chat if you think it's a plot, or a 2 in the chat if you think it's all in her head. Just put the 1 or the 2. You don't have to add anything because to register the vote. I have two points of view on this. My first point of view is K. Michelle understands the reality TV game. She's not new to this. And she understands that controversy sells. She understands that controversy gets you in the episode. She understands controversy gets you screen time. She's not stupid. She's not stupid. Yeah, you can vote. You can say 1 and 2. Sure, you absolutely can. She's not stupid, right? But I also think, if I'm being very honest, y'all, I also think K. Michelle need to go sit on somebody's couch. I think she really has some internalized things that she needs to work out. That's my opinion. Do I think that phone calls were made? Yes, I do. Do I think that people talked about K. Michelle? Sure. It's all on the internet. Like, nothing that anybody's talking about is something that isn't on the internet. Nobody is talking about anything as it relates to K. Michelle that somebody had to dig up and couldn't just Google. Like, there were interviews, there were people, there were back and forth as it relates to, her alleged smell. That's not something that people didn't already know and have access to that information, right? Do I think that K. Michelle could be a little self-conscious about that because she knows that that's things that have been said? Yeah, maybe. Because Andy said that K. Michelle told him she didn't want that brought up. So the fact that she went to production prior to filming and said, I don't want this talked about, tells me that it is something that you are conscious of. It's something that you're conscious of. If you had to have a whole conversation with production to say, I don't want this talked about. And because it's something that you're conscious of, I think it's something that maybe you're overly sensitive about somebody bringing up. But I also feel like because you went to production and told production you didn't want it brought up, I can absolutely see production using that as a weapon to create exactly what we're sitting in right now, which is we've been talking about this for the last 3 weeks. Do I think Portia was talking about K. Michelle in that scene with the oysters? I do not. I really don't. If she was talking about anybody, I think she was talking about Kelly. Because remember, her and Kelly had that whole argument in the car about who's cat and I ain't want your old wrinkled, crusty ass cat and you was trying to scissor me and I wasn't trying. If she was poking at anybody's vajayjay, I would have thought Kelly long before I would have thought K. Michelle. Now, here's the other side to this, and I know y'all hate when we talk about production and editing. Now, the other thing is, were some things edited out that we aren't seeing as an audience that would make K. Michelle feel that way? Let's be clear. Let's say Portia did what she did, and then she looked up at K. Michelle and was like, "Hey, you know what I'm talking about?" Then I might be like, why would you single K. Michelle out when you talking about oysters and something smelling? If Portia made a face and kind of rolled her eyes in K. Michelle's direction, I might be like, huh. So are there things that possibly editing could have created a moment where we as the audience are saying, that's crazy? Maybe. What up, Kitty Doc? Kay also keeps hurting her case because every interview she's telling a different story. Now she's saying Drew is the mastermind of all of this. Now that's the other thing too. K. Michelle, you probably should not be talking. Honestly, I agree with you 100%. If K. Michelle had said anything and just left it up to us to talk back and forth, you're right. Because the more she talks, the more we're like, wait a minute, what? So now you said what? So now you adding this. Do I think K. Michelle is 100% just Delulu out of her mind? No, I don't. I don't think that. Because again, I do think somebody said something to her. I just think it was production. Do I think she has any concrete proof that there's a plot against her? No, I don't. I don't think she has no text messages, screenshots, timelines. I don't think she had none of that. I think she had somebody whispering in her ear when she was probably already upset about something. What up, Mo? And like y'all said on the panel, Cynthia was the one who ordered the fucking oysters. Now the other thing is, okay, Jason Lee said that people called him about Phaedra. First of all, we know Jason Lee liked to put himself in situations that he ain't always necessarily in the middle of. Like Dame Dash, that's what made me think of it. Did y'all see the clip with Dame Dash when he was saying, where Jason Lee was saying he knew Aaliyah, and Dame Dash was like, you didn't know Aaliyah. And Jason Lee was like, I did. I knew Aaliyah. Dame Dash was like, you did not know Aaliyah. And he was like, I mean, I met Aaliyah multiple times. He was like, then you met Aaliyah. You did not know Aaliyah. And I'm going to be honest. I don't agree with Dame Dash on much. But I'm one of those people that says the same thing. I hate when somebody always act like they know everybody and they friends with everybody. You're not friends with everybody. You may have met a lot of people. You may even know a lot of people, but you are not friends with all of these people. And it irritates me when I see people who are like, well, you know, that's my friend. Well, you know, that's my friend. Well, you know, I'm friends with this person. I'm friends with that person. No, you're not. And again, Dame Dash, I don't have a lot for Dame Dash, but Dame Dash was quick to be like, you were not friends with Aaliyah. You met Aaliyah. You were not friends with Aaliyah. When Kay was talking about marrying her husband before the show, she said she was engaged to the man and they were going to get married, but he was hungry for fame. That's not the same guy, though. The guy that she was engaged to before the show is not the guy. It's not this guy. The guy she was engaged to before she did the show, he's a coach in the NBA. He works in the NBA. It's not him. It's a different person. Jason lied and said they called him and said the queen was dead before. Yeah, he did say that somebody from Buckingham Palace called him and told him that the queen was dead. You right. You know what, Cheryl? I forgot all about that child because we talked about that. We talked about that over here, didn't we? We talked about that over here. We said he done took the queen out. He did. He took the queen out. He sure did. I remember now. He sure did. He took her all the way out. I said, damn. Now, granted, the queen was 182 years old. So eventually you was going to be right. But it wasn't the day you said it happened. Now, it was a couple of months later. It was a couple of months later. But it wasn't that day. People calling about new cast members is not the same as a plot. Exactly. Them calling is not the same as a plot. Yes, honey. Jason Lee said that the queen was dead. And again, he said somebody inside of Buckingham Palace called him. Let me see if I can find it. Y'all, the people who remember him doing it know that I ain't a lie. But let me see if I can find when he said it happened. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it exactly. Let me see if I can find the exact date. Jason Lee's site, Hollywood Unlocked, falsely reported Queen Elizabeth II was dead on February the 22nd, 2022. The next day, on February 23rd, he publicly doubled down while other reports noted the Queen was alive and he had spoken with the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, by phone. He said he had spoken with, wait a minute, hold on. Let me make sure I read that right. On February the 23rd of 2022, he publicly doubled down while other reports noted the Queen was alive and had spoken with Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Okay, now he didn't say he spoke with, okay. Queen Elizabeth actually died on September the 8th of 2022. So he was about 6 months early. Right. Remember, she was at the centennial. Remember, they had a whole celebration that summer for her centennial. Or somebody's centennial. It was something. Her 50 years, however many years. It was a whole celebration for her. Remember, the Spice Girls came out and they had all these celebrations and stuff. Remember, they had a whole celebration that summer for the Queen. Was it her centennial? I don't remember. But it was a big ass celebration. And she was there. Waving and shit. She was there. Mem said don't report his death 6 months early. Don't report mine at all. How about that? Not Jason Lee said it was AI. So anyway, y'all, I just wanted to get y'all's 2 cents on it. I see that most of y'all still feel the same way. We got the poll results. The poll says that 9% of y'all do feel like it was a plot, but 92% or 8% of y'all feel like it's a plot. But 92% of y'all still feel like it's all in K. Michelle's head. And I told y'all, do I believe that people called around asking about K. Michelle? Of course I do. They do it with everybody on reality television. They do it whenever there's a new season. They do it all the time. Do I think there was a plot against K. Michelle? I mean, no more than anybody else that goes on a reality television show. I mean, do they haze people? Yes, we've talked about that. Do people create storylines? Of course they do. That's how you get on the show. That's how you stay on the show. That's how you get screen time. I'm not going to say that conversations weren't had on what they could or couldn't do to come at K. Michelle. But do I think that Portia, Drew, and Phaedra was sitting in a basement somewhere? Oh, that might not be a good to say a basement when I'm talking about the three of them. But do I think that the three of them was sitting in some room conjuring up a grand scheme and plot to come for K. Michelle? Do I think that oysters at a restaurant were part of this grand plot to come for K. Michelle? I do not. I'm sorry. I don't. Now I reserve the right to apologize and change my mind if somebody show me something. Do I think that K. Michelle put 20 on 10 as it relates to this dude? I do. Do I think that she used this conversation she had with him to turn it into a bigger situation to come for Portia? I do. Do I think that K. Michelle understands reality television? And do I think that K. Michelle has corrupted this whole season and made it about her? Absolutely. And I think that's the part that nobody's talking about. That's the part that nobody is talking about. We are in episode 8. How many of these episodes have been around about K. Michelle? The last 3 weeks have been all about K. Michelle. But even before that, we had, I mean, I'm not saying she plotted to have surgery. I'm not talking about that. But we had her surgery, and then we had her and Portia getting into it about, you said, I can't believe you said that I was going to have a miscarriage. Oh my God, why would you say that to a woman? That took over the whole episode. We're talking about K. Michelle more than we're talking about Pinky Cole's bankruptcies, more than we're talking about Kelly losing her businesses, more than we're talking about Portia having a whole girlfriend, more than we're talking about Shamia's ass. Like, we are talking about, out of the 8 episodes this season, K. Michelle has dominated about 4 to 4.5 of them. Now we're going to talk about a plot. I think that's the plot. K. Michelle has corrupted this, has co-op, not corrupted. She has co-opted this whole season. And I don't think anybody's paying attention to that. K. Michelle knows what she's doing. Do y'all know, for the average person, do y'all know how many reality shows K. Michelle has been a part of? Love and Hip Hop is not her only rodeo. K. Michelle, after Love and Hip Hop, she had her own reality show for what, 2 or 3 seasons? And then after she had her own reality show, she went to Love and Hip Hop Hollywood for 1 season. And then after Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, she did Marriage Boot Camp. After Marriage Boot Camp, she did the Queen's Court. That's 5 right there without me even thinking real hard about anything else. K. Michelle is not stupid, and she's not new to this, and she is not naive to how this shit works. R&B Divas, that's 6. She's not dumb. She's not naive. She's not stupid. She knows exactly what she is doing. And I think she's doing exactly what she set out to do, which is take over this season. Let's see how many more episodes we end up talking about K. Michelle. How many more arguments is K. Michelle going to get into? She did Love and Hip Hop New York too. Well, hell, that's 7. She did all 3 cities in the franchise. That's 7 different reality shows, y'all. She's not stupid. Thank you, Katie K. If you got gifted that membership, please thank her. Y'all tell me who got it, y'all. In the chat, tell me who got the gifted membership. Thank you, boo. Thank you. So that is my ultimate thought on it, y'all. If I'm being honest, I thought about that earlier today. I said, oh, you a new member over here too? Oh, you didn't have to become a member over here, girl. I appreciate the support, though. You know I do. I didn't know she was on R&B Divas. I didn't watch R&B Divas. I've seen clips. I watched R&B Divas LA. I never watched the one in Atlanta, so I didn't know she was on R&B Divas. But you know what? Yvette says she's being talked about, but not in a good way. But some people don't care. Some people don't care about whether it's good or bad. They just care that you're talking. Some people don't care. And I think she's one of those people that don't care. I don't think K. Michelle cares whether it's that you're talking about her in a good way or a bad way. I just think she wants you to talk about her, in my opinion. Right half pin, all press is good press. Gabby said, I guess I'm a member over here too. You might have been gifted a membership, boo. But thank you for being a member, though. Oh, no, it says you were a member for 4 months, so I guess you are, yeah. Hey, Phil, what's up, boo? Phil said, K. Michelle has always been manipulative and problematic. K. Michelle is no dummy, but I have never trusted her at all. K. Michelle uses drama for clout. I can't listen, Phil. I can't disagree with you, boo. And thank you for the super chat. I can't disagree with you. Y'all know me and Phil don't always agree, but when we agree, baby, we be locked in. We be right here. When we agree, honey. All right, y'all. Let me get. Oh, here we go. There she go. I did not ask Surrey to say shit. No, I can't try again. Surrey off. There she go. She just sitting there waiting for me to say something. I did not call her. Y'all, let me get out of here. I got some other things to do. I told y'all I didn't get home until late, so I got some other things to do. I will talk to y'all later. Mim said we need Kenya, Nene, Tamar, and K Michelle. No, we don't. Absolutely not. I wouldn't watch it. Y'all could if that was y'all could have that. I would not watch. Oh, absolutely. Well, I could say I wouldn't watch it if y'all was paying me to watch it. I'd watch it. But y'all could have that shit. Mm. Yeah. All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.